personal investment plan or personal pension plan. Now, this is the third series that I'm doing for the investment that you can consider in 2025. Series 1, we looked at treasury bill and fixed deposits as a short-term kind of investment. Then the second set of investment that we looked at was mutual funds and shares. Today, I'm going to talk about the third kind of investment that we can look at in 2025, and that's the personal investment plan or personal pension plan. Now, let's use an analogy to explain this. So, usually in our communities or even in our workplaces, we have what we call the susu. So, every month, someone will contribute into a fund as a group. Then when it gets to maybe the end of a particular session, someone gets the full amount in that order. Now, susu does not give you any interest, whether you do it for 1 year or 2 years. All what you are doing is that you are accumulating the funds, you are giving the bulk money, and you continue to contribute to everybody within the chain gets it. Now, that's the same analogy that personal investment plan works. Now, personal investment plan basically means that you sign up to a product that you contribute money into it month on month for a number of years. So let's say someone can decide, I want to go for 10 years because in 10 years time, perhaps I want to start up a business with how much money I've been able to contribute. Someone will decide to say that I want to go for 5 years. Someone will say I want to go for 20 years. Now, there are institutions that are mandated and given licenses to help people to do this kind of long-term investment. And depending on the institution that you work with, they have different names for it. Some call it special investment plan. Some call it the personal investment plan or personal pension plan. It's the same thing. So you sign up to this product, and month on month, you contribute or you pay some money into the fund for a number of years, and you earn interest on how much you are accumulating over the period. So that's a very simple explanation of what the personal investment plan is all about. So instead of, for example, waiting to get some lump sum of money to then go and do a bulk investment, perhaps your salary is just 2,000. You can just be putting some 100 cedis aside. You don't want to keep the 100 cedis in your savings account or your salary account because you're not earning anything on that account. It's better to rather channel this 100 cedis into the personal investment plan with a pension company or an institution that runs that product, and you'll be earning interest upon it every now and then. As you build it up, that's how you'll be able to get the money. And there's always a good chart that you can use to even project how much money you'll be making in future. And one of the chart that I always talk about is what we call the EZ calculator. So if you have an iPhone or you have an Apple phone or Android phone, just go to your store and download EZ is one word calculator. That can help you to even project to know how much money you'll be making in future as you contribute into this particular fund. And I know one of the questions that people ask or say is that the value of that money is going to depreciate over the period of time. That is true. However, because we know of inflation, these products have what we call the inflation protector. Now, what this inflation protector does is that it gives you the opportunity to increase the amount you are contributing every year according to inflation. So, for example, I started this year with 100 cedis. Next year, let's assume inflation this year was 30%. I can decide to increase the 100 cedis by 30% because of inflation that my investment suffered this year. And that will mean that I can move the 100 cedis to 130 cedis next year, 2025. And it runs like that. So as the years go by, your investment is also growing and is factoring in inflation. As I always say, 10 years ago, you will say that 20,000 is no money or will be no money today. Ask yourself today, how many Ghanaians have 20,000 cedis by way of investment or some money sitting that they can use for a project? Only few Ghanaians. So don't be going with the mindset that inflation. Inflation protector is there to help you when you are doing this kind of long-term investment. Other than that, you will think that, oh, this money is nothing. But in 20 years or 30 years time, you will still be crying because you are not able to accumulate a number of or much money to be able to live the kind of life that you want. And as I always say, this kind of investment is flexible. What it means is that within the period, you can decide to go into the fund, withdraw some money for a project. People have used this kind of investment as a capital for their business. So they went in, took some money along the line, established a business, and they continue with it. So please, personal investment plan is one investment you don't want to miss as you go into 2025, especially because it helps you to be very disciplined, because you know every month you have some money that you need to be putting into some fund, and that helps you to develop a very good habit going into the ensuing year. So for me, if you are watching this channel, please, 2025, one of the investments you need to consider, aside all the two series I've mentioned, is that make sure you sign up to a consistent investment like the personal investment plan.